All right, we got quite a few things to go through before this preseason game between the Chicago Bears and the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously, Anthony Richardson getting his second start, live action. Excited to see him. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see Justin Fields, and I really wanted to see Fields in this game for a few reasons, and I'll talk about that in a moment. First of all, I'd like to welcome you to the JDW Sports Talk Show, where every fan is welcome. If you enjoy Colts content, NFL content, make sure you like, subscribe, put the post notification bell on so you do not miss any future videos. This is a place for you to be. We're building a fantastic community, great people, great fans, great audience. Love you all. Become a part of the team. Become a part of the JDW Nation, whatever you want to call it. Let's get back to the video. Well, let's start the video. So, first thing I want to talk about is Ashton Dulin recently suffered an ACL tear. I really want to see who is going to step in and who is going to fill in that role in special teams, because Ashton Dulin is an incredible special teamer, and we really need to see who's going to be able to fill in, because special teams is just as important as offense and defense. A lot of people will say it's absolutely not. Maybe it's not as important, but you win a lot of your games in special teams. If you're going to win a big time game against a different team, you need to take advantage of special teams. You need to hit that extra field goal. You need to get the extra punt off. You need to get the good punts off, because or you make good tackles like Ashton Dulin does. He's a great gunner. You really need Dulin. It's unfortunate he goes down with an ACL. He's great in rotation as a deep threat. He's a nice little route runner, has okay hands. I'm not as crazy about him as a lot of you guys are. I think he's a very good receiver, a very good rotational receiver. I don't think he's a great starter, but it's unfortunate that Ashton Dulin goes down, because it leaves a massive crater. I mean, in the special team room, and we could sit here all day and debate if special teams is better or not, but it's important to have your special teams up to date, to really have your special teams playing to a decent level at the very least. It's very important. Sometimes special teams is very important. It's setting up your field position, your opponent's field position, kicking that extra field goal, or you're going to miss those 3 points. Those 3 points could be the difference in you winning the game. So special teams is very important. What Ashton Dulin goes down, it hurts. And the second part of the special teams I want to talk about today is Matt Gay. Kicker Matt Gay did not play well last week. Did not kick well. He missed an extra point. He missed a field goal in the windy city of Buffalo, but we're paying him top dollar for a kicker. Hopefully he can come around to Chicago. I'm pretty sure this is in Indianapolis. Hopefully he can, wherever it is, he should be making the kicks wherever he is. But let's see Matt Gay. Hopefully he can have a bounce back week. Excited to see him, to see if, we're paying him a lot of money. I really hope, and, I'm excited to see if he can make a big time kick. Really, big time. It's a preseason, but I want to see him make some kicks, to make some field goals. He struggled last week in that department, and just kicking in general. Yeah, it's windy, but Tyler Bass was kicking in the same exact conditions, so I don't want to hear it. There's no excuses. So that's really special teams. Next we got, I kind of want to go through, actually who's going to fill that depth role from Ashton Dulin. Is it going to be Rashad Perryman? Maybe it's a good thing we brought him in, because I think Perryman can fill in that position just fine. So, that's really, I don't know why I really went back on that. Tight ends. I'm interested to see how the tight ends performed last week. I saw a little bit from Grants and a little bit from the tight ends, not too much. I've heard that Fahora Brown has been looking pretty good in training camp and stuff. He moved up the depth chart. So you have Jelani Woods, who is listed as a starter. Great, good. Will Mallory has shot up the depth chart here. He is listed at number 3. I'm not sure how they're really listing it on here on our lads. So, actually, no, he's listed at number 4, but he's making his way up the list. He jumped Alec Ogletree. I keep calling Drew Ogletree Alec Ogletree. Stop. I keep doing it. The linebacker. I keep mixing him up with him. I think it's so easy to mix up, because he's a player that I know, but, I always forget our players' names, our tight end. But Drew Ogletree, I am excited to see what he could do. Obviously, he tore the ACL last year. We're going to see Ricky Seals-Jones. The Colts have a total of 9 tight ends, so they're really putting an emphasis on this room. Kind of telling me that they really are going to go heavy with RPOs and that kind of stuff this season. A lot of tight ends on the field, and I think RPOs is going to be a big part of the offense this year. They're not going to throw all this crazy stuff out there, because they want They're starting Anthony Richardson. He's raw, doesn't have a lot of experience, as we know. I think they're going to be running a lot of RPOs, one reads, maybe him taking off, maybe 1-2 read things. No, they're probably trying to keep it as simple as they can with AR, but not too simple. But they want him to find comfortability. Do you want him to take it to the next level? And this may be the start to it. And this is a start to it. RPOs, simple plays. Not too simple, but not too complicated. You want to ease Anthony Richardson into there, I guess. They're trying to, is what they're going to want to do. Not really throw any crazy complicated stuff in there. You just want him to get his feet wet, get that experience this year. And then next year, hopefully you can, bring out a more complicated playbook. Or even as the year goes on, because AR's mental makeup is incredible. It's like he's a 27, 28-year-old quarterback going into his prime mentally. He's got a long way to go, technicality-wise, just a lot of, just a long way to go is playing the quarterback position. But, experience, I think these big-time tight end options could really help with him. Maybe throwing the ball too high at times. These tight ends can use their big bodies or strong hands, strong arms to pull in these passes that are just going to be zooming. They're going to be zooming. I also want to see Alec Pierce kind of make up for last week. I don't know if he's going to play a lot. Probably won't. He's a starter. He's listed as a starter. He's a right wide receiver, the second wide receiver. But he dropped the pass last week, so I wanted to see him start catching some passes in these games. I want to see him find some consistency with those hands. Next week, we talked about the tight ends. I don't know what kind of noise I just made. I don't know. Don't ask. Let's just move on. Pretend that happened. So then we're gonna talk about the running back. So we all know that the John Taylor situation. It's just a weird situation. I'm not gonna keep talking about that. Not gonna keep beating a dead horse. But you do got running backs here that you need to pay attention to. You have John. I said we're not going to talk about John Taylor, and that's the first player you read out the depth chart. Ding dong. So we know Zach Moss is dealing with the broken arm. Evan Hull is actually listed as the next player, considering Taylor and Moss are both injured. When you consider that, Evan Hull is listed as a starter, but this is a running back room that is probably going to be a by committee room. You have Evan Hull, very good receiving back, showed some promise last year. I thought Deion Jackson looked great last year. Kenyon Drake had 4.5. Beer Dragon's going crazy. He wants to go outside. But where were we at here? So Evan Hull going to start. Deion Jackson looked good. Kenyon Drake had 4.5 yards per carry. Jake Funk, I'm not too high on him, but he could have one or two snaps a game, look all right. He'll probably get much more than that, but we'll see. Jason Huntley punched in for a touchdown last year, so a lot of this running back room had a lot of time last year. But once you got into the second offensive line, you had Jake Funk, Jake Funk, Drake, Kenyon Drake, Jason Huntley didn't really have a lot of room to run just because of how poor the offensive line play was after the first team played, after the starters played. So I guess we'll see how that continues to develop with this running back room, how they continue to develop. And the next thing I have here is how will this young secondary do? I really wanted to see Anthony Richardson. I think I mentioned that earlier in the video. I really wanted to see Justin Fields. I think I said I wanted to see Anthony Richardson, which we're going to see. Really wanted to see Justin Fields because, I want, although I don't think Justin, I'm not too sure how I feel about Justin Fields. He looked good in the preseason game. He had two really big plays, two really big throws. But, the Khalil Herbert made a lot of the difference after that play. I guess we're going to see how Justin Fields plays, but I would have liked to see a quarterback. We got a quarterback with some experience. We saw how the secondary looked versus Matt Barkley, but, versus Matt Barkley, we really having our, bottom of the depth chart guys in. But, I really want to see a experienced quarterback, really, an experienced, talented quarterback go up against a secondary. I'm not sure if Fields is, he's not that experienced. I guess we'll see how his accuracy looks. No, we're not going to. But I guess we'll see how he looks this year. But in general, I'm just saying, I really want the secondary to play a really high powered quarterback, whether it's running the ball, passing the ball. I think that it's good for this entire defense. And don't forget, Anthony Richardson's going to help with that too. When they're practicing against a guy that can do that all day long, it's going to help these Colts players, on defense, play against Lamar Jacksons, play against Justin Fields, play against these guys that really like to run the football and can run it at a very high level. But you have the secondary. You do have DJ Moore. I don't know if DJ Moore is going to play, but if he does, I'm really interested to see how the secondary plays against him. You have Julius Brents. Didn't look good. He looked iffy last week. Darius Rush run the young kid out of South Carolina, I believe it was, had the pick six. It was tipped. Bad throw by Kyle Allen. Took advantage of it. Nice heads-up play. Took it for 6. But I really want to see how the secondary, whoever's on DJ Moore play. I don't know who's going to play on the outside. DeLis Flowers. I have no clue. Jalen Jones. Really need to see how the secondary is going to look. You do have Chase Claypool. I don't know if he's still even on there. Let me look up the Bears depth chart real quick. The Chicago Bears depth chart. I am using Our Lads, by the way. I do not use ESPN's depth charts anymore. Our Lads is much better. They show you, ESPN only shows you the top 3, 4 players. Our Lads shows you every player up to 5, and then they put second rows for some positions that might have a lot more. You're really seeing every single player on the roster on Our Lads, and they show you how the player was acquired, if he's a rookie. Our Lads is an incredible depth chart. Get away from ESPN. Use Our Lads depth chart. It's much better. So let's look at the receivers. You got DJ Moore, okay, Darnell Mooney. I'm really interested to see how they play against Darnell Mooney. You do have Tyler Scott, who was drafted in the 4th round this year, I believe. You got Darius Fountain is coming back to play Indianapolis. Isaiah Ford. I believe we had Isaiah Ford on our team for a little while last year or just recently. I know he was on their team. I'm interested to see. No, he was on the San Fran 20. I don't know. We had some kind of Ford on the team, but that was a receiver. He's really listed at the bottom though. Darnell Mooney, Chase Claypool. I'm interested to see how they play against some of these more experienced wide receivers. Worried, who's a backup quarterback. We're going to be seeing PJ Walker. Whatever, he hasn't had much action in the regular season. He played with the Panthers a little bit in the regular season. There's a lot that we need to see from PJ Walker in general, but he's really good in preseason. He's always been a preseason monster, a preseason goon. Is he going to do it against the Indianapolis Colts? How is the secondary going to fare against him? Then we're playing the Eagles next week. They have Marcus Mariota, who's a veteran quarterback. Let's see if he eats this defense alive. Marcus Mariota or the defense, mainly the secondary. Marcus Mariota looked like absolute dog crap last night versus the Browns. Tanner McKee actually looked really good. I really want to see Tanner McKee versus our secondary is accurate, and he just comes in and looks like he plays like he's been in the league for a while. So the other quarterback you have on the Chicago Bears behind PJ Walker is Nathan Peterman. I really want to see Tyson Bagent here. I know he's a 4th quarterback, and he's behind Nathan Peterson. He's a quarterback out of Shepherd. He's a rookie. I'm really interested to see how he does. He can move. He's coming from a smaller school. I think he's a very intriguing prospect. I want to see how he plays. I know he's not really on the Colts, but I would like to see him a little bit. But yeah, in general, I'm really interested to see how the secondary plays. Playing against some really experienced talent in the Bears wide receiver room. Are they all great? No. I think Darnell Mooney can be very good. I love DJ Moore. Chase Claypool, he's an if. What's going to go on with him, you don't know. Then I really want to talk about the edge room. Edge room is a big talk point. It has been a big talk point over the Colts, off seasons over the last couple of years, honestly. It hasn't just been last year, this off season. It's been quite a few years we've been talking about this edge room in the preseason, training camp. We really want to see this edge room take the next step, and especially if we're going to have, we were just talking about this young secondary room for the Colts. If you want them to have any success and help them out a little bit, you're really going to want this defensive line to show out. Samson Ebukam had a good week last year. Unfortunately, Jannard Avery just went down with a season-ending, I think it was a knee. It was a season-ending injury. So Jannard Avery goes down. I think I was just talking about him last year. I was really excited. I thought he looked really good last week. Fortunately, he goes down, but we do have another linebacker. Maybe getting him confused with, what is his name, Grant Stewart. It might have been Grant Stewart that I was talking about last week that did good. Nonetheless, you're having a guy go down, but you get kind of, but let's talk about this edge room a little bit. We want to talk about how, who we need to look forward to. Samson Ebukam had a good week last week. Got the nice contract from us, 3-year, $24 million deal. Gonna see how he continues to play in the preseason, how he can get it done, because we really need this edge room to shine. Kwity Paye, can he take that next step? I'm not sure he's going to play. I think he might play. You got Tyquan Lewis. He's coming back from an injury. I like to see him play well. Al-Quadin Muhammad and Dale Dangbo looked really good last week. Interested to see how they carry that success over this week. Eric Johnson, Taven Bryant, Grover Stewart, and DeForest Buckner. Not sure if we're going to see them play. They're both incredible talents in the interior. I'm not worried about the interior at all, but I also want to talk about Adetomiwa a little bit and Titus Leo. So Adetomiwa is a really talented kid out of Northwestern. I keep calling them kids. I got to stop doing that. But Adetomiwa Adebore, he's a very athletic. He's an athletic freak. He has a long way to go in terms of development. It seemed like he was getting pushed around a little bit last week. I have high hopes for him. I think he could turn into a household name, but he has a long way to go if he was getting pushed around by 3s or 4s last week. Let's see if he can continue to develop, take the next step up this week, see if he can look any different, any better versus real talent this week. I don't mean real talent in a disrespectful way. I'm just saying live action is what I'm trying to get at. And then you have Titus Leo, young kid out of Wagner. Keep calling them kids. Titus Leo, the young player out of Wagner, the rookie, drafted in the 6th round. Very athletic. He's an athletic freak. I'm really, really intrigued to see how Titus Leo is going to continue to look because I didn't think he looked all that great last week. I don't know. He looked pretty athletic. He looked all right. Made some nice athletic moves, but didn't really get off blocks. So, other than that, we do have Anthony Richardson. That's the last but not least one I want to talk about. Obviously, Anthony Richardson, very young, very inexperienced. Looked okay last week. Had his ups, had his downs. But I'm really interested to see how he's going to do against us. I have to stop using interesting so often. It's probably getting pretty boring. JW, use different words, expand your vocabulary. But, yeah, let's see who the Bears have on their defense. So you're playing Matt Eberflus. You're playing a cover 2 team, but, remember, they keep everything fairly simple. They keep everything watered down. And that's what they're going to be playing against, even on the offensive side as well. But you look at the Bears defense, he's going to be playing against a cornerback, Jalen Johnson, who's looked pretty good. Jack Sonborn, don't know who that is really. Jaquan Brisker, Tyreek Stevenson, the man coverage cornerback. Another Jalen Jones that they got here. Eddie Jackson. I don't think Eddie Jackson's going to play. He's getting older. They kind of want to keep him rest. I know he's been injured a little bit lately, but I'm really interested to see. Interesting. Stop using that word. You need to find different words, JDW. But, and you gotta stop with your ums. They're horrible. No one wants to hear you go after, in between thoughts. Stop it. So, really want to see how Anthony Richardson is going to do it. How he's going to do against a secondary that has a little more experience than the Bills than, what the Bills had last year or last week. I think the Bears have a little bit better of a secondary, considering Tre'Davious White didn't play last week, but I want to see how Anthony Richardson's going to play a second week. How is he going to respond to week 1, making a few mistakes, really missing some of those routine throws, those hitches that Kylan Granson, one to Alec Pearson. That was a kind of a hold on the defense. That wasn't the deep one either. That was a little hitch towards the sideline. Kind of threw it out of his frame. Overthrew Pittman once, although he didn't have a really beautiful down-the-line throw to Kylan Granson between a safety and a linebacker. I just want to see how he's going to play. Is he going to run a little bit more? I really just seen him throwing the ball. He ran a few times, ran over a cornerback. Other than that, I don't want to keep beating a dead horse with Anthony Richardson here. I like AR. Want to see what he's got in the second game, how he's going to respond, how is he going to get better from last game. Sounds like he's developing really nicely, but it's preseason. Things are very simple. Training camp, things keep simple. Very different game from the preseason to the regular season. So that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you for tuning into the JDW Sports Talk Show, where every fan is welcome. If you have any matchups here that you want to keep your eye on today or tomorrow, whenever you're watching this, it's on Saturday. I will be live for the game, so we will be watching it live together, live reaction. So that's all I got from you guys today. Thank you for tuning into the JW Sports Talk Show, where every fan is welcome. Last but not least, I do have our member shout-outs. Thank you, Marshman Gunner. Thank you to Red the Rat for supporting the channel even further. Never feel like you have to become a member, but if you do become a member, you will get a little extra back, like getting shouted out at the end of every single video. You will be shouted out every video, and if like I said, don't ever feel like you have to or you need to, or you never feel the obligation to become a member. But if you do, you are going to get a little bit back. You're helping me support the show, and you're helping me keep the show going and really invest into the show. It's really just investing back into the show, into you guys. So if you guys are going to give a little extra, you're going to get a little extra. So thank you, Marshman. Thank you, Red the Rat. Thank you guys for tuning into the JW Sports Talk Show. This is officially JW Sports Talk Show signing off.